Jump on in. Welcome in. It's Kirsten Liebelt. Good to see you guys today. Today's Wednesday. All right. So midweek check-in. How are you doing? How are you doing? I love doing midweek check-ins. It's like just having the ability to be just a little bit like honest with yourself, maybe just a little assessing and in a non-shame way. Remember, core value, non-shame. If you don't know who I am, my name is Kirsten Liebelt, and we do this every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Unless I'm traveling. And then if I'm traveling, when I go live, you're going to want to be in the group Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. You're going to want to be like in that one spot for just in general, if I'm going to do anything out of the ordinary while I'm traveling, which I am like 4 times this summer, you're going to want to be there for anything like that. Right now, we are right in the middle of, you guys, listen up. Every month we do the 5-day challenge. It's the 5-day insulin resistant reset challenge. It's our 25th one. Woohoo! So excited. And we have done day 1 and day 2, and now today is day 3, and we will do pantry and refrigerator reveal. So if you've never done one of these, pop into the group, because it is a way for you to every single month take 1 or 2 nuggets and get a win, and then do it again, and then do it again. And you string together enough successes, and that's how you get to the result that you're looking for. You know, I always put my before and after up on TikTok. I lost 3 sizes in my 50s because I began to view everything in my world through the lens of insulin resistance. Had I never done that, I would not have dropped a pound, because when your insulin is high, you can't lose fat. You can't burn fat. So when I learned all of these things, I'm like, oh, I'm going to change the things I'm doing. Now, that all came after a long journey of being Italian, tons of obesity and type 2 diabetes in my family. My dad died at 63. Like this all, I was a sugar addict from a natural position. Like it came very naturally to me. I loved food from a very natural position, like weddings and funerals and all of the things, all of the emotional connections. Good morning, Magda. Good to see you. So I came to it from a very honest place. I'm just not going to lie. But when I finally decided to turn things around, I was like right in my upper 40s. And I have completely turned around my insulin resistance. I'm the only person in my immediate family that has avoided type 2 diabetes. I'm 60 and I'm not on any meds. So that's very good to know, because today we're actually going to talk about how to end up on 9 prescriptions and how to break the cycle. Boom! Oh my goodness. So this comes from, do you guys know who Dr. Eli is? Does anybody know? He's just a guy that I follow on Instagram, and I do appreciate his information. He's super bold about the truth that insulin resistance is 100% reversible. And what are we even doing? Like, what's wrong with us? Like, come on, people, right? But it's really exciting, because the best news that you should receive today, not necessarily, I shouldn't say that, but one of the pieces of best news that you could receive today is the fact that this is 100% turnaroundable, and that you do not have to live with this impending doom of like a life of prescriptions. And I'm telling you, I cannot believe the amount of meds that people have gotten off of during my journey here now. I was doing content on hormones in general. And then a couple of years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, I started to really tell the story of my dad, and the response was overwhelming. And I realized how much people are kind of in a pickle when it comes to all of the different pieces of fallout of insulin resistance, whether it's fatty liver or type 2 diabetes, PCOS, leaky gut, heart disease, high blood pressure, like gout. It just goes on and on and on. And I started to do more content, specifically narrowing down to one hormone, which is insulin. So when it comes to, you know, this content today is actually coming from Dr. Eli, because he was talking about how, you know, this pathway of prescription meds and what this does to us in kind of an overall capacity of what it's like then to live on all of these prescriptions, and how did we get here? So this is what he talks about. Okay, this is the scenario. You had high blood pressure, so they gave you a pill. It didn't budge, so they gave you 2 more. Weight creeping up, now you're on a shot. Cholesterol's high, add a statin. Now you're diabetic, more pills. Gout, that's interesting, another med. Kidneys struggling from all of this, that's pill number 9. Does this sound familiar to anybody? How many meds are you on? You can put it in the comments. And guess what? Not a single one of these meds is reversing anything. It's not reversing anything. You are managing chronic disease. You are not reversing it. And I want to talk about what that looks like in your real life. So sometimes this is kind of how this can feel for people. Good morning, Terry. Good to see you. Maybe this is you. Maybe you have pill bottles in your purse. They're by your sink. They're in your car because you can't miss a dose. Is that you? How about you have to schedule your day around pharmacy pickups and lab work? You're sitting in waiting rooms more often than you are out walking with your friends. That might be you. You're tired, but it's the kind of tired that sleep, coffee, or even naps cannot fix. That's an icky, icky feeling. Your jeans fit tighter, but you're eating better than you did 10 years ago. You're embarrassed to bring up the symptoms that don't make sense, like your hair is thinning, your mood is swinging, and you never feel full. You feel like you're doing everything they told you, but nothing is changing. Does that remotely describe anything that you have been going through? And again, this is coming from Dr. Eli's information. And the frustration of all of this is that I feel like when we finally wake up to the fact that we've kind of been duped, and I'm not a doctor, so we're just having a cup of coffee here, people, but we kind of feel a little duped and we're like, now I don't know how to shift it. And now there is this, I see this all the time. You have no idea. These are the conversations I'm in all the time because now you're in a brain warp. And you have to walk it, and nobody can walk it for you. And so it feels very kind of lonely a little bit because now you have to figure out what you're going to do. What is the risk you're going to take, or what's the chance you're going to take? Are you going to stay with the provider you have, or are you going to get a new one? I have a lot of you just get new ones so you can have better conversations. You feel like you're not having good enough conversations. And maybe somebody's not actually willing to help you. And you feel very frustrated by that. Like you don't feel heard, maybe. And that is a normal conversation that we have. So this is what he calls the prescription treadmill. It's a cycle that manages symptoms and ignores the root cause. Kind of like, we don't see anything here. Everything's fine here. It's like, what are we doing? And what's even more dangerous is that you start believing that this is just aging and that it's normal. That's what you start believing, but it's not. This is not normal. This is not just regular aging. Okay. So what if the solution isn't more appointments, more pills, or more restriction? What if it's a little different than that? Golly, jeepers, you guys, I love so much that we are right in the middle of our 5-day challenge in the group. Because today, when I do my pantry and my refrigerator reveal, yesterday we did the ingredient trade outs. It is so good. I feel so good about sharing information that I realized as I went through my own journey, because food was the biggest piece of my puzzle that I thought was going to be so freaking hard. And now I love the food I eat. I love the way that I feel. And I feel like such a freedom in my universe because I am not tied to symptoms or to meds or appointments or prescription pickups, but it's for everybody. And I know I probably am not supposed to say that, right? Like, because who am I to say that? It's just something I believe in my heart. How about that? I believe in my heart that it's for everybody, that people actually can really completely change their life by stopping the cycle that's going on inside of your system. And it's within your control because it's not a terminal diagnosis. Super exciting to me. So these are the things that I teach. Real food that doesn't spike your blood sugar can still be a foodie. Who wants to still be a foodie? Raise your hand. If you still want to be a foodie, raise your hand. Put it in the comments. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Jody. You made it. I'm so glad you made it, Jody. That's wonderful. That is so good. So real food that doesn't spike your blood sugar, because what's the cycle? We talk about it every day. The cycle, you're raising your blood sugars all the time. And then over time, as your body's releasing insulin to go get the sugar to take it into the cell, you have too much. It can't keep up. It cannot keep up. And eventually what happens is the cell closes the door. So now it really can't keep up. And the frustrating piece about that is that then you start storing fat that you didn't understand was going to happen just because you're trying to follow possibly counting points. You're trying to follow. It's all about balance. You're trying to follow calorie deficit only, no matter what you eat. What you eat doesn't matter. Only the calorie matters. You're trying to follow a prepackaged program that gives you everything in a box, in a bar, in a bag. And you're just going to buy all your food and they're going to tell you, you don't have to think now. And it's going to cost you about $1,200 a month or something like that. I'm just telling you, like, because of that, we have to shift the way that we're doing things. But I feel like, does anybody know that picture? Okay, it's super random, but it just came to my mind. So I'm going to say it. The picture of the little girl, and she's looking up at Jesus. And she's like handing over her little strand of pearls or something like that. I'm trying to remember exactly. She's handing over something and she's like, oh, she doesn't want to give it to him. But behind his back, he has something much bigger. That's how I feel like this is. Like every day I come and I say, you guys, this is better than you think it is. And you have no idea. And no, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus. I'm just telling you, like, we think in our brains, we've been indoctrinated to believe that this is a hard, arduous, disgusting, gross tasting, white knuckling process. And it's just the opposite. But how would you know if you had never done it? Okay, so here we go. So real food that doesn't spike your sugar. Welcome on in from the balcony on TikTok. Come on in, you guys. It's so good to see you. Thank you for joining and double tapping the screen to get information out to people. I really appreciate that a lot. Ingredient trade outs that won't inflame your body. This is what we talked about yesterday in the group. Targeted supplements to restore insulin sensitivity and energy. I know you're like, why do you always talk about the supplementation aspect of it? Because that's where I started, because I was too much of a freaking chicken. This is why I understand what's in your head. I was such a chicken to trade out my foods. I was like, oh, I'm never actually going to stick to it. So I'm just setting myself up for failure. I mean, that's pretty much what I felt like. Like, I've done this before, right? But I'll tell you, supplementation helped my food noise so that I could actually move forward. It helped to bring down my insulin and level up my liver function and the things that it needed so that my body could move forward. My body was very slow and toxic and run down and not firing, all of the things. So, to be able to focus on restoring your insulin sensitivity and your energy, ooh, man, feels good. Feels good to actually detail your body, okay? And then a community of women who are done settling for prescriptions without answers. Like, are we not freaking done yet? Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating, right? Like, we can go to medical providers not getting the answers. They just send us to another silo and another silo and another silo. And each silo has their hero med that they want to tell you about. They have their hero script. And you just go from one to the other to the other. That's how you end up on 9, right? and you still don't have any answers by the end of it. And now you've got that sleep that it can't be touched by even a nap because of the side effects, or maybe you have diarrhea, or maybe you have, who knows, right? There are a lot of different side effects. And I said it in my stories this morning. I really had thought about this. I should do a post on it. When I started to supplement, because I was just freaked out by my own insulin resistance, like I was watching my dad die his slow death until I was 30. You have to understand, put this into context for just a second, okay? From the time that I went from 20 to 30, he went from 53 to 63. So think about yourself in your 20s, okay? You're in your 20s. You're in that decade. And during that time, my dad is going from 53 to 63, where he dies. And that entire 10 years, his body is going like this. Okay. So my 20s were filled with heart procedures, and started earlier than that, but let's just keep it clean with the timeline. Emergency angioplasties and heart procedures. And at the end, it was kidney dialysis. And it was a constant, like, him not feeling good, him taking meds, and them fighting within each other. He couldn't go to work till it was at least noon. He owned businesses, so he could do that. Like, he was not safe to drive. Fill in all the blanks. All of the side effects, dialysis was, then he was puking. I mean, it was a lot. Those are my 20s. Those were his 50s. And then he was gone at 63. And he had never, not once, been diagnosed with anything terminal. Not once. So which one do you choose, right? Which path do you choose? He clearly chose a life of meds, and he went like this. So to say he was on 9, yeah, probably easily. But okay, let's just say it was 9, which is what we're talking about today. Just like this. Just like this. Rocketed to the bottom of the canyon until he was gone. I did the opposite because I was freaked out enough, because my mother would not leave me alone about my sugars. I had been gestational diabetic in my 20s as a 22-year-old. I'm 30. He dies at 50. I have shoulder surgery because I was in a car accident. It freezes. Sign of insulin resistance. Who knew, right? I mean, it was like all over me. It was literally me. I was going the exact same direction. I entered my 50s just like he did. He was in worse shape because he had been diagnosed at 35. So he was in worse shape when he hit his 50s. But I was going towards the complete, like, the train left the station. Now we were going to fill up my lazy Susan full of meds and see how long I could last. The level of ridiculousness on that is just like, wow. So I instead kind of crossed my fingers, not being a granola person or a supplementing person, and said, okay, fine, I'll try some supplements, blah, blah, blah. See, Mom, thanks for the hearts. Hi, Melissa. Thank you for like tapping. I appreciate you. I took a completely different path, and it paid off in spades. But that's because it's reversible. So when we talk about this, and we talk about real food and targeted supplements, like, just think about the opposite of living with all of the scripts. So you guys always tell me, in the messages, good morning, Linda. How are you? Joyce, you made it, Joyce. Good to see you. Good morning, Patty. Cheapers. Everybody's here today. But think about what it would be like to live the opposite world. Now, I did have somebody text me this morning, and I really loved it a lot. And she said, I wonder if I could pull it up. She said, I'm actually doing really well. She said, it's a slow journey, but it's a good journey. And I thought, you're actually getting it. You actually understand what you're doing for yourself. And that makes me very happy, because if I came on here and I told you guys, listen, you can like fix your life in 10 days or less, no matter how many meds you're on, no matter how many, oh man, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. It's okay. That would just be lying to you. You are at a different space than somebody else's. So every single one of you that's on my content right now, whether you're on the replay or on the live, it doesn't matter. Every single one of you, you're at a different part in your spectrum of insulin resistance. And so some people's ships are really big to turn around and some people's are really little. And the most important piece of the puzzle is giving yourself permission for the journey. So when I started back in my early 50s, it was a little bit before then. It was actually before that. I started in my upper 40s with insulin resistance, insulin resistance supplementation. Didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't know that what was going to do for me. Didn't have any of. I'd never ever read a paragraph about insulin resistance. Knew nothing. Didn't care. Was eating whatever I wanted. Total sugar addict. So like, okay, whatever, dude. Like that was me. Just really clueless. So I start doing that. And to be really honest, I had no business. This is what I was writing in my story. I had no business. I really do mean none. Investing in supplementation or real food. I really didn't, because we were in the middle. We were actually towards the end of losing everything. Now, what I mean when I say everything, and I've not really told my story on live before, I don't think, not to the degree that it is. And I probably won't right now either. But the point being that in 2008, when the real estate crisis happened and everything crashed, my husband had 6 months prior already lost his job. So we were already in a pickle. Everything drops, like crashes through the floor. About 3 weeks before that all crashed, my son, who was 13, had been in an ATV accident and he had a traumatic brain injury. He was 13. So literally everything happened all at once in 2008, starting in February and then like finalizing itself in September. But it took 2 years for the process. So 2 years into the process of literally slowly losing everything. And I mean like a bad country song. One dog ran away. One dog passed away. I'm not joking. We lost our 20-acre hobby farm. We sold our truck. We like everything. We did not, whatever. It doesn't, I don't have to go into detail. I mean, I can at another time, but that's not the point of today. So when I decided then at this crux of my story to finally start to take care of my body, I am not making it up. I knew the first names. I was on first name basis with all of our creditors. And maybe you've been in that same position before, but it did not make sense for me to finally take care of myself financially, like at all. Like, what are you even doing? Right? Like, this is what was in my own head. And I wrote in my stories, I said, hey, Dan, if you're watching, you were really good to me. And it's true. Like, he doesn't watch me. I'm sure he doesn't even know who I am. But the point being that, like, I knew their names and they were really nice to me. Because they walked for us for years, right? So I was not positioned to invest in my health. I was responding to my mother going, Kirsten, what are you doing? Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. Do you even get your sugars checked? Do you even go to the doctor? Like, hello, your dad died when you were 30, type 2 diabetic. Hello. Look at you, Kirsten, gaining all that weight. That's why I put up this picture, because that's where I was, 2X. Hello, anybody home? That was my mother. And I was freaked out just enough to disassociate or disconnect my lack of funds with my need to figure out how to get my body up and running again. Because I so badly didn't want a lazy Susan full of meds. I didn't want that. That was like a core memory of mine. After my dad died, he died on a Friday morning. We were home on vacation and we were, he died on Friday morning. Saturday morning, my mom is in the house crying because of all of his medicine on the lazy Susan and everywhere. And why did I complain about the mess he made? Blah, blah, blah. And I just, that was a moment in time. It went like this. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. because you're moving through grief, right? So I was like, and later down the road, this memory is in me. He had a freaking Lazy Susan full of meds. What is going on? That's when I began to be like, that's what I don't want. That's what I don't want. I'm not going to sign up for that. I don't want to be on meds. I don't want the side effects. I don't want to go down that path. And I started assessing myself because I was really much of a chicken and very freaked out. And because I could tell my body wasn't functioning very well. It's kind of like, when you're driving your car and it's like, and you're like, dang it, I don't want to take it to the mechanic because they're going to tell me it's going to be a $5,000 bill. I mean, that's kind of where I was, right? But my point being that this is how you start that cycle then of getting on 9 prescriptions. Like Dr. Eli said, you have high blood pressure, so they give you a pill. It doesn't budge, so they give you 2 more. Your weight starts creeping up. Now they give you a shot. Your cholesterol is high, so they put you on an statin. Now you're diabetic, and here come more pills. Now you have gout. That's interesting. Another med. Your kidneys are struggling from all of this, and then that's pill number 9. But you could have way back found out that you were insulin resistant, dealt with that, which is the core, the trunk of the entire tree, and had a completely different experience. So I'm just saying, like, if you want to have a different universe for the summer now, if you want to have a different universe going forward, I am not a doctor. I am not a physician. But I sure was excited when you started sending me texts. Oh my gosh, my IBS doctor just took me off of a med. My cardiologist just took me off of a med. My doctor just took me off of an anti-anxiety. Oh my gosh, my high blood pressure. I was on 2 or 3 pills. I can't remember what she was on. I have somebody in my head. She got off of all 3. Okay. So I just want you to know that it's possible. I don't make guarantees, but I want you to know it's completely possible. Okay. And if that's not you, you're probably not on my content if that's not something that you want, right? So in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, we do the 5-day challenge every month. And that is to help you with ingredient trade outs and pantry and refrigerator. So you can see how different my life looks now than it did 10 years ago. Okay. Because I did it a little bit at a time, and that's what you can do too. You can give yourself permission for your own mission and cause of what you're trying to accomplish. Very, very important. And so when we go through this, I just get really excited because I'm able to then teach you some of the things that I thought for sure were going to be so hard. We're also doing 90 Days Summer of Fire this summer because summertime can feel like it gets away from you, and you show up in the fall and you realize that, yes, you had a lot of fun, you had a lot of sun, but you also maybe really ate a lot of foods that were not helpful to your whole journey because of the weddings and the parties and the reunions and you kind of binged your way through summer because you're just having fun. I mean, and that's just kind of what we do, and it's very exciting. So I understand, but you can mitigate that. So we're doing some 90 Days Summer of Fire in the group. Every morning there's a post that goes out at 8 a.m. and it is gives you mindset and like core issues of insulin resistance and how you can whatever, and a tracker, and like, I'm not saying that very well. I put an example in my story yesterday of what one of the days looks like, but it's going to give you just a few things to make sure that it can help your day, right? And then if you want to accelerate, not everybody wants to, and not everybody will, and not everybody can. Like I said, I had $0. I had less than $0. You guys probably wouldn't believe me if I told you that at the time that I started taking care of my body, it's just going to sound so ridiculous. But number one, groceries back then, which is not that long ago, it didn't cost us hardly any money in comparison to today, right? But my husband would be like, go get groceries. And it's just only because we were losing everything. I wasn't raised this way. It was just a moment in time, right? Everybody's got their moment in time. So I'm not trying to be dramatic. It's just my story. Every time I would go spend $50 at the grocery store, our cell phones would get turned off. And it was really just kind of challenging and whatever, and, embarrassing, for our adult children, blah, blah, blah. But that's where I was when I started to invest in myself. So some people want to accelerate their results and get the testimonials that a lot of you guys are getting already. So I always wrap up talking about the total body reset so that you understand what it is. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 of the pillars. Some people go all in and they just jump off the deep end, and it's something that works really well. Just know this, that you can actually get paid back for taking care of yourself because there is an actual customer campaign in motion. So when you invest, when you purchase $150 3 months in a row, on that 3rd month, you get $75 off. And I don't know of anybody else that's paying you to take care of yourself right now. That didn't exist when I started doing any of this. So I started with the trio, which are the 3 supplements. This has these 3 right here. They each have their own ingredient that help with insulin sensitivity. Each one of them, it works together synergistically. So this is the trio. You probably see this a lot on my reels. You can always ask me for just the trio. If you want to take it up another notch, you can do the gut reset protocol. That's the product that looks like a greens product, but it's not. It's actually 6 products in one, and I take it like a wellness shot. It tastes like tea, turmeric-y, gingery. That's what it tastes like. And then here's a probiotic that goes with that, 5 live strains. So that's the gut reset protocol. These are all pillars that can be individual or together. The last pillar is the fat burner. This is the orange pixie stick. It's a clinical dose of an extract that targets your visceral fat. So if you've ever wanted to see your body composition change, your inches, if you know you already have a fatty liver, again, I'm not going to ever make claims, but I am going to tell you that I never talk about something that somebody has not given me results on, just to let you know. If I say something, it's because I have the testimonies, okay? So like body scans that show the visceral fat decreasing. And come on, y'all, you know the visceral fat is the dangerous fat. Yes, I want you to lose inches. Listen, I didn't weigh myself. I measured myself again this morning, and to my delight, another 1/2 inch off of my hip. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Like, you do this in 90-day rounds, 90 days on, take a month off, 90 days on, take a month off. Like, I'm telling you to not buy a box that 4th month, okay? Because you don't want your body to get used to it because it's a thermogenic. When you put all of these together, this is the total body reset. And so some people choose all, I had an idea that I wasn't as balanced as I wanted to be there. Okay. This is the total body reset, all 3 pillars, the trio, the gut reset protocol, and then the fat burner pixie stick. You can ask me for 1, 2, or all 3. Ask me for a customized cart. We can decide what works best for you. But then take that into the 90 days of summer. Give yourself a fighting chance so that when fall comes, what if you're choosing a different size of a sweater? What if you're feeling better going, and what if you've learned an ingredient trade out for a pumpkin spice latte, and you don't have to buy the sugary drinks that are being offered to you that are really just wreaking havoc on your body? What if instead by then you found a trade out that you really love? I'm just telling you, that's the beauty of doing this, is that you still get to love the foods that you're eating and drinking. You don't have to give up everything. Linda, good to see you. Good to see you. So that's kind of what we're doing. And I'll just show you the inside of the gut primer. This is literally a daily GI primer, because I don't ever want to miss saying this. If you've had your gallbladder removed, I have somebody who has short gut syndrome that has helped constipation, indigestion. If you have leaky gut, if you just know that you need to heal and seal your gut. This is an entire GI primer, gastrointestinal tract, your whole thing. And it has made such a difference. You've got to move that impacted waste through. The fermented greens help you, especially if you've lost your gallbladder. I really want people to hear that, because so many people suffer with just frustrating, no matter what you eat, it doesn't work. Well, if your greens are nice and fermented and they are very bioavailable, and the inflammation in your gut can go and come down, boy, I'll tell you, you're going to shift so many things. And the truth is that there are 2 portions. One is in the trio and one is the gut primer. So helpful for your liver, because your liver actually helps you to balance the glucose in your blood, and it helps you to balance your hormones, and insulin is a hormone. So I want people to like make these connections, because I am thoroughly convinced that if you understand why something is working in your body and why it can help you go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive, you will not just start something, you will give yourself permission for a long-term journey. You'll be like, listen, I am going to do the campaign 150, 150, 150, cha-ching. 150, 150, 150, cha-ching. Like I deserve to take care of me so that I can be in a completely different place come Christmas. Like, so that I can be in a completely different place in a year. Because you're turning around your ship. So why not get paid to do it? And I know that not everybody, will or can, and that's okay. Start where you can. Okay. Not everybody wants or needs acceleration. I'm so good with that. Then get in the group and let me show you my pantry and my refrigerator today. Let me show you. I have to go clean my fridge, but other than that, let me show you some of the changes that I've made, because I think that it'll help you. I think it'll be of help to you. So tomorrow we'll be back here at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. In the group today, it's at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So don't miss that. And if you're on the replay and you've watched this, let me know where you're coming in from. I always love to know who sees the replays. It's very helpful. And in the meantime, have the best day ever on the face of the planet. And then walk away with a little bit of hope. Maybe you didn't have much hope today, but maybe you do now, that you can get off scripts and live a different life. So